Another 100 yards against the 49ers again for Cooper Kupp. This one is juggled, picked. There goes Hufanga. Hufanga, touchdown, San Francisco. Pick 6.
What's going on, dudes and dudettes? So yes, as you saw right there, to start the video, Talanoa Hufanga, the ex-USC safety / linebacker, returned to pick 6 in the most recent Monday Night Football. I forgot to add that to the video that I did earlier this week, so I'm adding it right now to give him some props. You know, he's been on fire. He's been probably like one of the higher tackling guys on the San Francisco defense, which is really good this year once again, and it's only his second year. I knew I had high hopes for him. Of course, a USC guy, but I definitely believed in his talent, and of course it's coming out, which is awesome. Yeah, definitely very lucky that San Francisco picked him up in the 5th round. He definitely deserved to get drafted higher, in my opinion, of course, but yeah, definitely very happy for his success as of right now. Then when it comes to the Chargers, with some more questionable injuries heading into the game this Sunday with wide receiver Keenan Allen, and their kicker actually has a hamstring thing, so they ended up signing a couple players to the practice squad that they might end up putting to the regular roster at some point tomorrow, just in case, are another wide receiver in Keelan Doss, who was a guy who was probably projected to go to the Chargers when he was coming out a few years back, because he was like at UC Davis, a smaller school, played wide receiver, but I don't know, I just didn't really see it. I heard he was fast, but yeah, and it's pretty obvious because he's already been on a couple teams. I think he got drafted by the Giants, and then he was most recently with the Raiders, and if you can't stay on the Raiders team, then there's probably something really wrong with you. So yeah, now he's on the Chargers, so great, we'll see. And then they also signed a kicker in Taylor Bertolet. I've heard that name before because it's such a weirder sounding last name. I just forget exactly where he was. I'm pretty sure I remember him from college, but I don't really remember him in the NFL, so he hasn't been able to stick with the team, but it will look like it might be only for one game if Dustin Hopkins can't go, so luckily it's nothing too serious for Hopkins. And then when it comes to Jeremy Roach of Duke, the junior returning point guard for them, he was named the one and only team captain for the basketball team, surprisingly, because usually they have like about 2 or 3 guys, especially since there are not that many upperclassmen. There were a couple like seniors that transferred in, but I guess they didn't really make an impression on the team, and Roach has been there for the past 3 seasons, so yeah, they decided to give it to him. He's a pretty good guy. He was a very talented 5-star guy from the Northeast coming down to Duke, and it kind of was hard for him just because he had so much talent around him, but once he took over, especially in the tournament last season, definitely saw what he was capable of, and I thought he might have used that to parlay him going to get drafted in the NBA, but luckily he did return to be able to be a really true Duke star at the point guard position and see how far he could get the team in March Madness this season coming up, so definitely very excited and happy that he returned to the team, so congrats to him. And then the other day was the 142nd birthday for the University of Southern California, USC, if that's too hard to understand, but yeah, they've been around way long. It's been like since the 1800s, I guess, if my math is correct, so yeah, been around for a while. Great tradition. I want to say I've been on the campus. I don't really remember because I think that was one of the schools I was not able to visit while in high school, so it sucks, but I guess they didn't think any of us would be able to get into that college. So yeah, overall, definitely would like to visit the campus at some point. Been to the stadium once. It was very awesome. Definitely looking forward to going back soon, hopefully. Then the Chargers are apparently the top landing spot for free agent wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr., who recently won the Super Bowl with the Rams, but because he suffered an injury in that game, he hasn't really been able to sign with the team yet, because I guess he's not 100% healthy, but he's pretty close from all indications, because he's still been working out really hard recently, and he's been talking with a lot of guys. I thought he might have joined Tampa Bay's roster just because of all this crap they've been dealing with, but I guess they aren't that desperate, but maybe the Chargers will be if they find out more bad news about Keenan Allen, and then you gotta sign a better receiver instead of a lot of these practice squad guys or second thought guys that have been in the NFL for a while. So we'll see. Could be interesting. And then, speaking of the quarterback who'll be throwing to those receivers, Justin Herbert, apparently after the first, three or four games? I forget what it is. He is a leading pass leader. He's the leading passer in yards in the NFL. I think it's around 1,250, something like that. Just right above Josh Allen, other players like that. It's a little surprising just because he's been dealing with the injury, especially after that Week 3 game, or during that Week 3 game, so I didn't really think his stats were that good. I didn't really care about that Jacksonville game all that much, but even in that Kansas City game when he was injured, I think he probably already had 200 yards, but yeah, he's been, I guess, averaging about 300 yards a game, blew up over 340 the last game against Houston, and has a chance to do it once again against Cleveland this weekend, but it is on the road, so it could be a bit more difficult, especially because not knowing what the weather is up there, but we'll see. So congrats to him. As of right now, he is the leading passer as far as yards in the NFL. And then Paolo Bonquero of Duke, who's with Orlando right now as a rookie, was recently voted, I think, by a lot of guys in the front office of teams and stuff that he was going to be, or they think he will be, the next Rookie of the Year in the NBA. I think that's pretty obvious just because they usually go with whoever was the number one pick, because you kind of have to go with that unless that person gets injured or they completely suck and don't play that much. But I think he definitely has a chance to start right away just because of how bad that team is, or be at least one of the top, minutes guys off the bench for Orlando because of how bad it is. So see what happens, but definitely looking forward to the NBA season starting pretty soon. Preseason basketball has already started. Of course, the Lakers have not won any of their 3 games, but it's been kind of fun getting back into it, seeing a lot of these Duke guys playing, trying to get on rosters. Speaking of Duke, yes, I don't think I did a top 100 officially of them. I know I did a couple of the players that I did see, but was able to get a hold of the list finally that Duke put out. And yes, so a couple of these names you heard already, but just to get the full guy. So Jason Tatum, I think he's around number 7. Brandon Ingram on there as well. Next was Kyrie Irving. Then Zion Williamson, RJ Barrett, Paolo Bonquero, who we just talked about. And then Seth Curry as well was one of the top sharp three-point shooters out there. So congrats to those guys. And then Jamari Sawyer, who was the rookie left tackle the Chargers started against Houston last weekend. Apparently, according to PFF, he was the highest graded tackle, so it's including left or right tackle in the NFL that day, over 90.4%, something like that, of how good he was of not allowing too much pressure on the quarterback or giving up sacks and tackles and stuff like that in the run game as well on his side. That's pretty crazy, just because, like I said, they drafted him pretty late, 5th or 6th round, and a lot of teams said, didn't want him on their team, didn't draft him, and the Chargers were surprised about that. And of course, this looks like a diamond in the rough for the Chargers as of right now, and he could play multiple positions, which is why they wanted him as well, whether it's guard or tackle. But it's really awesome that they're having some success as of right now, so we will see if it continues for them. Then Netflix is releasing today, I believe it's the 7th for Friday, a documentary, finally the documentary about the Redeem Team of the Team USA with Kobe, LeBron, Dwayne Wade, Carmelo Anthony, all those guys, and obviously Coach K, ex-Duke coach, coaching them as well. So definitely looking forward to that. We'll most likely be watching that later because I'm pretty sure there's no good college games on today. So yeah, definitely looking forward to this. Should be very fun, so check it out if you love basketball, of course. Then some more miscellaneous news. The 2nd season of The Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power is what they're calling it. Season 2 has already begun filming. I believe, in the UK. So it's kind of surprising just because they were pretty much mostly in New Zealand and Australia for the first season. But I guess they found out that they could use that Pinewood studio up there in England and all that stuff. And I guess there's enough landscape out there if you go to like Ireland and all those other places to kind of make it look like Middle Earth. So yes, I was pretty lukewarm about the season, the first couple episodes, just because I thought it might have been a better movie, and some episodes kind of like dragged on just because I wasn't caring about certain characters. When you watch the Lord of the Rings movies, there's so many characters that they focus on, and you're pretty much into it for most of them, at least 95% of them. But with this series, it was kind of like, yeah, I don't care about this group. Just give me to the other group. And it was great when like those people weren't part of that episode, but then the next episode they're kind of featured more, which sucked. But yeah, I believe there's only 2 more episodes left. I think today, Friday, they released the second to last one, and then next week is the last one of the first season. So looking forward to see how they finish it. Last week's episode was probably the better episode. The last 2 weeks have been really good episodes, so hopefully it ends on the right foot, as they say. Then, of course, this is just rumors and sources and all this stuff, but a lot of people, especially on Twitter, were going on with this news that Tom DeLonge is officially rejoining Blink-182, and I guess there's sources that some arena had said that they booked Blink-182, and of the members that were posted on there, Tom DeLonge was one of them, which is surprising because there hasn't been any official news or anything like that, unless it was supposed to be secret this whole time. You never know, but if this is true, it is a great thing to happen, so definitely would look forward to that. But as of right now, because it is just rumors and sources, it's hard to get too excited, but I would be very excited if it were true. Then yes, to end on some more miscellaneous news, a couple of guys, especially the past couple months ago, Taron Egerton, who you know from like the Kingsman series, and he played Robin Hood and done a lot of good stuff. Eddie the Eagle was another cool movie he did with Hugh Jackman. But speaking of Hugh Jackman, I guess he is going to be returning to be in the 3rd Deadpool movie with Ryan Reynolds, which is pretty cool because people don't know it. In Logan, Wolverine's final movie that Hugh Jackman played, he pretty much dies at the end of the movie. So it is kind of surprising that they are bringing him back, but I think timeline-wise it still will make sense because Logan was pretty much based in a different future, in a different storyline, whatever. But I know that 2 guys at least that have worked with Hugh Jackman recently are kind of like at the top of the list of most internet people's, and even my list, to be the next Wolverine. I know a lot of people like this Taron Egerton guy, and people were kind of crazy because he was meeting recently, at least a couple months ago, with the Marvel people, and everyone just assumed he was going to be the next Wolverine because of his build and his size, whatever. But no news officially came out, and that even he officially did talk to them or not. But it would be a pretty good cast. I also, especially because pretty recently, through some interviews, Zac Efron, who also worked with Hugh Jackman within the last couple years on The Greatest Showman, he was also rumored to be as a guy, because for some reason Jimmy Fallon was questioning him about Marvel movies and also specifically about Wolverine as well, because I think Marvel put out, like when movie studios put out that they're looking for certain actors for a role, like say, oh, we're going to cast Wolverine, but we want a I'm using a Hugh Jackman lookalike, but in the notes that they're sending out to agencies, they said they want a Zac Efron lookalike. So I guess that's why it made news. So it's like, if you're looking for a Zac Efron, why not just get him? Because he could be a pretty good guy. Because he's a good enough actor to do it, and physically he could get big as well. So I think it would be pretty good both ways. But yeah, it's pretty interesting that why look for an esque type of actor when you could just get the actor who seems available, who's not in any big time franchises either at the time. So it is possible. So yeah, those 2 guys will be good, and maybe if one gets it and the other one doesn't, the other either or could be also good for, you know, Wolverine's rival / buddy in the X-Men stuff, as well as Cyclops. I think they could be really good for both that role as well. So either way it shapes out, I think to get these two younger actors who are probably in their 30s as of right now, but they're good enough actors, and physically they could bring a lot of good stuff to the role as well. And you could keep them as that character for a long time as well, at least a decade or more, because of how young they are too. So either way, whatever works out, whatever way it shapes out, I think be looking forward to what Marvel brings, because they haven't really hinted or said officially that mutants, which are what the X-Men are part of this whole MCU, Marvel Cinematic Universe, but I think it will be happening pretty soon, especially with what might and might not happen in Wakanda Forever, the second Black Panther, coming up in November. So definitely looking forward to that as well. So yeah, thanks for watching, people. Like and subscribe. Comment down below. Let me know what y'all think. There is a player who's a very talented 4-star complete guard or shooting guard that might be making a commitment around 12:30 Pacific time. So I'm recording this before that. So if he does, I will add it as a tag in this video, because I'm not going to make a separate video. He's not that big of a player. But yes, I will add it at the end of this. And yeah, I've been doing, ever since October started, I've been doing like a horror / suspense movie / Halloweenish type of movie every day, at least once a day, to try to see if I could do it, a type of marathon, at least one movie a day, because a lot of those movies I kind of just skip or not really look at. I remember a lot, obviously, you know, like Addams Family or other ones that were more childish when you were younger, but like I never watched The Shining, so I watched that the other day. So yeah, definitely looking forward to add other stuff like Psycho, all this other stuff too, to finally be able to watch them during the month of Halloween. So the more proper time to watch it, I think, in my opinion. So yes, like I said, thanks for watching, people. Like and subscribe. Have a great rest of your day. Bye. Fight on. So of course he made it official. Silas Demary Jr. has committed to USC. He is from North Carolina, so surprised that both North Carolina or Duke were in his Final Four. But either way, USC gets a very talented player coming in next season. Definitely very excited about that. And yeah, overall, I'm going to add this at the end of the video real quick. But yeah, like I said, thanks for watching, people. Like, subscribe, comment down below. Let me know what y'all think. Have a great rest of your day. Bye. Fight on.